Hi, my name's Claire and I'm the Prevention Health Educator at Cares Northwest. And this video is going to cover a couple of general tips or guidance for any parent or caregiver who has the big responsibility of supervising a group of kids. So this might apply to a birthday party you're hosting at your house, maybe it's a sleepover, maybe it's a family gathering, or maybe it's just a play date between a couple of kids, especially with kids that you're not very familiar with yet. So many of these times are cause for celebration and can get kind of out of hand. There's a lot of energy in the house with kids running around. It can also cause anxiety for both the kids and the adults, especially if they're not very familiar with your house or if they're not familiar with you and their peers. So what we want to do is cover some general tips and guidance that we hope any adult who is tasked with this huge responsibility, they could apply to these situations, which are going to largely cover group agreements amongst each other and role modeling what that can look like for kids, especially at a young age when kids are still learning these social skills around how to be in community with one another. So our first piece of advice is to simply prepare, which means both reflection on what you're comfortable with and you've already planned out where kids can go, how you're going to supervise them, and you've already thought about what they can access and what they cannot access. So these are simply the adult ground rules that are in place to make sure that everybody is safe, to make sure that you're comfortable supervising them with these ground rules in place, and that you've also passed these rules on to the other adults who are responsible, or maybe it's other teenagers, whoever's going to be keeping an eye on kids, and you're there to intervene in case kids need to be directed. As I mentioned before, this is such an awesome chance to role model for kids how to respect one another's personal decisions, personal boundaries, and explain that it's okay when people have differences from us, and we are going to respect that. So it's also really important that we are honoring that everybody has a choice and that we are going to listen to what everybody has to say. So throughout these discussion prompts, please role model I think and I feel statements, role model active listening for them, and then allow kids to lead the conversation. Let them use their own examples. That's going to make the most sense to them. It's going to be the most engaging, and it's going to be relevant to what they're doing that day. The first question is, what does respect look like? Or how will we be showing each other kindness today? This is a great one to allow kids to answer for themselves, and you are there to facilitate in case no one says some of the obvious stuff, but make sure that kids are sharing their own examples because it might mean something more to them and it might be more relevant to the activities that they have planned together that day. So question number 2 is, what is consent and what is peer pressure? Of course, this is a little bit heavier on the adults to be able to explain to kids, but there are definitely ways that you can explain consent and how it applies to them in their group agreements in an age-appropriate way. Consent means that you are giving someone a choice about touch, actions, or emotions, and it also means that you respect when somebody says no to something. And it's okay to have your feelings hurt. It might mean that you have to change plans. It might mean that somebody doesn't want to play the same game as you or doesn't want to listen to the same music as you. Whatever it might be, we are going to honor their decision, and it's okay for us to feel sad about that. And you as the adult are going to help navigate those feelings because it's really crucial that kids understand that at an early age. The next discussion prompt is, if you or someone else does not feel respected or someone has invaded your personal space, what can you do? This is a good opportunity for you to explain that a kid can come to you at any point if they have a question about something they feel comfortable with or if they need assistance to make someone stop doing something. So make sure that you are counteracting the common beliefs around tattletales and snitching, or maybe the dare games that kids are going to be playing, whatever it is. You want to make sure that you are cultivating a space for someone to come to you and that they feel safe with their questions and concerns. And finally, we want to share those ground rules that you reflected on. So this is when you're going to explain to kids in a very clear manner, where can they be, what is absolutely off limits, where can they be playing, what can they be playing with. So that includes some of the electronic devices that you have around the house. It also includes maybe volume level or some other general house rules that you want to make sure kids respect. And if they have questions, honor some of those questions. Lean into some of the curiosity that they have to make sure that they fully understand where you're coming from. Lastly, just repeat all of the group agreements that you discussed to make sure that kids fully understand the things that they all talked about. And then moving forward, be prepared as the adults responsible to intervene in a calm way and redirect them to the behaviors that they should be modeling for one another.